Good morning. My name is Olive Barrows. You're watching Your World. And I am sitting in for Winnie Lubembe this morning. We're looking at electrifying the boda-boda sector. The president said as of September, there will be a facility to enable boda-boda riders access e-bikes. The other day, about a week ago, at the launch of Bodacare, that is the NHIF card specifically for this sector, he said that we'll have 10,000 bikes in the country by September, 100,000 by December, and that you exchange. You take your bike, they give you the electric one. He talked about how it'll cost less because I remember Murkomen talking about instead of spending 700 shillings a day on petrol, you'll end up spending 200 shillings thereabout to charge, and that the cost of electricity at the charging ports will be cheaper than the average cost of electricity. That, he said, will serve multiple purposes, including saving Kenya's foreign exchange reserves, as well as providing green energy. Kenya's energy supply being 92% clean, and putting more money in the pockets of boda-boda riders. With me in studio we have Hesbon Mose, Country Director, Ampersand E-Mobility. Karibu sana. We also have in the studio a beautiful lady. She had her helmets with her. I think she's put it aside, and that is Caroline Gararige. Yes. All right. She is a rider, Ampersand E-Mobility as well. We have a representative of boda-boda riders and also treasurer, and that is Henry Muchwenge. Did I pronounce it right?
Of course, yes.
Oh, good. So Boda-Boda Safety Association of Kenya. I saw your National Executive Director?
Yeah, President.
At that particular event I made reference to, and also sitting here next to him is Asbon Amai.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
He is representing Bodaza Emba. Kwatibim. Chair Embakasi East Boda-Boda Association. Glad to have you guys in studio.
Thank you.
So I'm going to start with you guys first. Stakeholders. Okay, everybody's a stakeholder, but
yes,
you're the ones who are directly affected, you and your members. Your thoughts on the shift, Asbon?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you welcome it? Are you looking forward to it?
Yes, the idea is absolute. According to me, the idea is absolute because also the world is moving, the world is changing. So we have also to change with the world. So the transition of electrifying the boda-boda sector, I welcome it 100% because it's very economic, it's very favorable. It has so many goodies that perhaps maybe time will not maybe allow us to say all of them because there are so many. When we look at the engine petrol, we were doing like service. We have change of oil, we have change of oil filter, we have change of plugs, we have change of rings. There are so many. The gears are not working, you have to change them. But now when you go to the electric one, it has got it is very less. You don't use those things. For instance, even change of oil, I had to spend about 1,000 shillings in a month, in every month to change the oil because oil is 600, the labor is 150, and then we have the filter 300. It's surpassing 1,000. So right now I'm saving. So when I'm doing the electric one, I'm saving almost 11 to 15,000 in a month. So I welcome the idea. The idea is absolute to me. Yes. You are on board. Yes, I am on board, but just light to the president. He said, you bring, we give you. Yes. But he never told us where to take that bike. And you know, in Kenya we have about 2 million riders. Yeah, I had 1.8 million. Yes, we are clocking to 2 because that sector is growing day by day. Yeah, in a day we can grow like 500 or 200 riders. We get new riders in Nairobi. And currently we are about over 78,000 riders in Nairobi County only. Okay. So when you say bring, and then I give you electric. Unapeleka wapi? Napeleka wapi? So go yama ni wapi? Lazima pia na tupe direction. Wakati unaleta hii bike, tunapeleka wapi? And then number 2, these 2 million, over 2 million bikes, where is he going to take them?
Good, very good. Hey,
yes,
very good questions. Asman kidogo nona, yes. I should relinquish my hosting. Roll to you. But Henry, your thoughts? Are you on board?
Of course, as Boda-Boda Safety Association of Kenya, we are here to support the president. And e-mobility is the way to go. I know the e-mobility has got a lot of advantages, and all said and done, also the disadvantages are there. First thing, as a climate guy, I like conserving climate. See, for electric bikes, this issue of pollution, noise, either noise or maybe sound pollution will be done away with, so the environment will be clean. And also, as Bona said, there's this issue of saving time, maybe on going to garages, always changing the oils and or whatever. But all said and done, we have to go gradually. We don't have to be pushed like we just change faster. Because still, like now, those bikes have to be charged, and the charging ports, I think they are a bit not enough. Like in Nairobi, where we are using the bikes mostly, I see one charging port at Westlands, another one in Hurlingham, in Mombasa Road. So you see, it's not efficient as fuel. Like now, there are scarce of those charging stations. Another thing, the bike is not yet marketed well in the market. So the riders don't understand about the bikes. So I just want to request those ones who are selling, the manufacturers, they have to do a sensitization thing, and then also more bikes to be seen. We want them to be visible, so that riders can understand what is it, because it is something new, and you cannot just change. Also, something else, these bikes are expensive. These bikes are expensive compared to the current bikes we are using. You find out that the bikes that we are using now, the expensive bike that is on the road goes at 175, almost clocking at 180. But you see, these electric bikes are at 230 onwards. So we want to ask ourselves, where are we going to get this 50,000 extra to buy another bikes? And as Esbon asked, where are we taking our bikes? And maybe for me, like myself personally, I have got a new bike. It's not yet even 2 years, and I spend a lot of money, that 170. So you want me to put this 170 in the house, or where? Then take another 230, which comes to like 500,000. And where am I getting that money? So I think we should change, but gradually, and then we reach there. Recently we had a meeting on e-mobility, and we were with the ambassador of Germany. And for him, he said Germany is going to be 100% e-mobility by 2035. And for them, their green energy or renewable energy, for now they are at almost 40%, while Kenya is at 92%. So if Kenya is at 92%, why are we seeing these bikes maybe charging and the price of electricity being high? And yet we are so far. Look at the country like Germany. Germany is a developed country. We are still a very young country. We have got the energy. Why is our charging or our maybe getting facilities in Kenya concerning that side of electricity, why is it so expensive? This one will make our riders maybe to shun away from this electric thing, because charging is a bit expensive for some. Ambassador, I think you told me that at how much? 185. I think you are the lowest. And then something else, despite us changing from fuel to electricity, you see there is this time of charging. So like the rider, I will stop for like 2 hours or so, waiting for my battery to charge. There are two systems of, I understand there are two systems of charging these bikes. There are others who are doing swapping. You go to a swap station, you give them the one that is done, then you take the one that is full.
Yeah.
And then there are others that when you buy the bike, you just go with the battery. It's up to your own to charge. So maybe my bike goes at mostly they goes at 80 kilometers per day or per charge. So after 80 kilometers, maybe that is for me is noon, like 1 or 2. So I have to wait for 2 hours, maybe from 2 to 4 for the bike to be full. Then I go back to work. You see, that one is not reasonable and doesn't make sense.
All right. I was listening to the president and he talked about you charging between clients mkipiga jaba. He didn't say piga jaba, but there's another word he used. I'm not so good with the sheng. But we have Asbon and we have Hesbon, the country manager, e-mobility, ampersand e-mobility. Perhaps you can answer some of these questions that are being raised. But let me just look at some of the feedback we've gotten on Facebook. There is Brian Luceno who says mnataka ndio mvua ikinyesha stima itupige. Joshua Kiema Mwanzia says it is a plan by government to do business with boda-boda riders Kitawaramba. Shadrack Kibet says unless for short distance, but those of us who need to ride all the way to Kisii itakuwa ngumu. Again, Mure Joseph is also concerned of what happens when it rains. Baby Caroline can tell us if it rains and you're on top of it, kwisha wewe. Actually, a lot of people are saying that njo iwapige shock. Next time watumie akili kupiga. Okay, I'll leave that other part out of things. But how safe are these bikes, Hesbon, when it rains?
So, thanks for bringing us to the show, and I'll try and answer some of the questions my friend Henry brought up. So there's different factors that hinder electrification, and some of the factors are being highlighted online versus also what Henry is saying. So the ones in summary that we've come up with is 4 different factors. The upfront cost. It's slightly expensive to own an electric vehicle. The prices you mentioned are slightly on the higher side. However, there is the price and the cost. So the price might be high, but the cost to operate is low. So, for example, in ampersand, the numbers you are throwing out is slightly on the high side. I wish we were charging that much because we would be making more money at ampersand. However, the cost of a motorcycle at ampersand is 185,000. So it's slightly above the 170 that you mentioned on the ice bike. You'll pay about what, 10% more to get an EV. So it's slightly up, but from day one you start saving. So we go to the value proposition that we need to talk about. The value proposition, actually you start saving from day one. An example is based on the ride, and Caro can highlight on that. The cost of fuel right now is 195 shillings. A fuel bike will take you about 35 kilometers to 40. So if you do the division of 195 divided by the 35, you get slightly above 5 shillings. It's 5 shillings and 50 cents to be precise. On an electric bike, on an ampersand, I can speak very authoritatively on ampersand, we charge 185 on a 0% battery. And we charge based on energy consumed. So if a customer will come in with 0% charge on a battery, you will pay 185. And it will take you about 75 to 85 kilometers. If you do the 185 divided by 75 to get the cost per kilometer is 2 shillings and 50 cents. Okay? So the cost per kilometer on an ice bike is slightly over 5 shillings and 50 cents. On an EV is 2 shillings and 50 cents. On an average day, how many kilometers do you go?
About 60, 70 kilometers.
60, 70? Henry?
He said 80? You said 80?
I actually do almost 100.
100. Yeah. Let's use 100 because it's an even number. I was not good at math. So if you take 100 kilometers on an ice bike, you will spend 550 shillings in a day. All right? When you use an EV, you will spend 250 shillings. So from day one, you've already saved 200 shillings on that every single day. So in a month, you actually ride about 25 days in a month. You will take one day to go to church. I hope you go to church. So, okay? Yes. So if you take 25 days times the 200, that is 5,000 shillings on your pocket on month 1. Within 3 months, you have your money back. And you have your bike for the next 3 to 4 years. So essentially, the price might look high, but the cost savings, you start realizing it from day 1, and that's actually where you get your pricing.
All right.
So that's on the cost.
Price versus cost.
Okay. The second part is actually range anxiety, right? Range anxiety is essentially you're saying you're going 100 kilometers, where do I get my charging station?
Exactly, yeah.
Right? So with that, for Ampersand specifically, unfortunately I'll speak for Ampersand, we have 10 charging stations across Nairobi, and we tend to get to 17 before end of the year. So meaning that at every strategic location within Nairobi, we have a charging stations. Nairobi and the outskirts. Outskirts meaning that Kitengela, Rongai, we're going to Kiambu, the outskirts. Then when you come to the city center, we're on Mombasa Road, we're on Kayole, in the middle of Kayole, we're on Ngara, we are in Mountain View, Hurlingham, and we basically distributed across Nairobi. So that minimizes. So within 5 to 10 kilometers, you should be able to find a charging station. So that range anxiety within Nairobi, you should be able to actually meet your, to basically make you relax and make sure that you can actually get a battery when you need a battery. So that's the range anxiety. The other question that you brought up is going to Kisii, which is part of the question online.
Yeah.
Going to Kisii, number one, we are not there yet, right? So today we can meet the Nairobi demand. Nairobi demand, actually, this is where we started. Mm-hmm. And with time, we will get to those other major
You said
towns.
You have how many in Nairobi? 28,000?
Riders, over 78,000.
Over 78,000.
They are going to 100.
They're going to 100. So you said there are 4 things. We've addressed price and cost.
Price and cost.
Range
anxiety. We have a charging network. So it's just like a gas station, right? Petrol station, I'm sorry. So any point you need petrol, you will find a petrol station strategic located in an area that you actually want. So that's kind of what we're trying to do at Ampersand. That's number 2. Number 3 is the...
Before you go to number 3, I think you should tell us where exactly your charging points are.
Okay.
In Nairobi and...
Okay, that's a good point. I can give you a list. So we'll start from the western side.
Asbon, you have something to add?
Asbon can give us a list.
I wanted to say, from, I don't know if your camera can zoom in.
I can open it on the touch screen.
Yes. We have this is the Google map allocated to the swapping stations.
What do I search for?
I don't know if you can, it's an application.
It's an app that
it's an app. Okay. Tell us about it. Tell us about it.
So this one, I don't know if your camera can zoom in.
It can't, but I will see what to do. I will see. Just continue. Just continue.
So, what you do, if I'm moving, one, this application indicates the percentage of the battery, and then number 2, it gives you the swapping station.
To tell you to hold it up towards which camera? Come to is that one. Hold it up towards that camera. Yes. Keep going.
It will show you exactly where the swapping station is. So you don't need to ask. You just open the application and it will show you. Okay. And in case there is anything in case there is anything that you need, perhaps when you are going to the swapping station, there is no battery that is full, the application will indicate it for you.
Okay.
And there are also some messages it will send to you automatically.
Notifications.
Yes, notification for those who are not online.
All right.
So the issue of swapping stations, they've been very precise.
Okay.
I think yes, but you didn't get me. Why I want us to know exactly where these
stations are.
These stations are, so that for the riders who want to buy it,
we have the Isli, we have the Ngara, we have the Hurlingham, we have Dagoretti, we have Mountain View, we have Total Thika Road, we have Kayole B Center, we have Pipeline, we have Africa Center.
And I'm okay, so we need to take a break, but we'll come back with number 3 and 4. And Caroline will tell us whether when it rains and she's on this bike, kama napigangwa na steamer. But I'm also curious, yes, there are what, 17 you said? No, you're working towards 17.
We have 10, we'll be to 17.
You're working towards 7. By end of?
By end of the year.
End of the year. Like how many, even within that station, how many stations are there to recharge, or will we tutakuwa tunapanga line or nini? All right. All of that on the other side of this break.
as a mother, I have to do my duties in the house. It forces me to send her to the river because I have no alternative.
Pia ora ok ber, ler bedo ok ler. Otuo nikech pia ora. Otuo ok odhi skul, japuonj chunye chandore.
If children had water close by, they won't be sick, they won't be distracted because the water is clean.
My shirt, a toss of lavender and a world of freshness.
Wash your clothes with Toss Lavender to leave your clothes with a lasting, irresistible freshness.
Generation 3 is all about learning and having fun. Tune in every Saturday morning from 10 a.m. and learn cool and simple recipes, arts, dance, get our tongues twisted.
4 viewers fun, vote for the fun. 4 viewers friends vote for the fun.
Jog our minds with awesome riddles and dance some more.
I think it's a hedgehog because as many needles as it has, it cannot what? What was the question again?
Generation 3, every Saturday from 10 a.m. only on NTV.
Wanaume tunakaa wapi?
Pembeni.
Terence, unaweza nifanya hivyo bro. Terence, you know very well you don't normally do that.
But then guys, you have a very perfect relationship. However,
babe, unajua the problem of getting back into the detail, who gets back into the detail? Tuna discuss, alafu subconsciously, wahudu. Wahudu your KYM.
Wapi nduru.
yeah. Let's go.
Hey.
Unadoki. Hauchoki. Kwenye dance. Hauchoki. Unahisi. Muziki. Unahisi. Sitishiki. Wewe unitishi. Na hizo hela zako. Hazinitishi. Sizubai. Unizubaishi. Na hizo hela zako.
To get Mungu Baba by Rafton, dial star 812 star 805 hash. Skiza na Nation.
Kwa miaka na mikaka, hedhi kwa mtoto wa kike ambaye anaishi katika mazingira tata imekuwa ni balaa, na wala si tunu tena kwa msichana huyu. Ripoti zimejitokeza haswa katika mashirika mbalimbali kwamba Kenya na Afrika nzima kwa jumla, mtoto wa kike ambaye anaishi katika mitaa ya mabanda, inasemekana kwamba wasichana wengi wameuza miili zao angalau wapate hela za kununua sodo. Inasikitisha, lakini hedhi kwa mwanamke siku zote ni tunu na haifai kuwa kizingiti. Hili swala lazima tuliweke parawanja. Ni swala ambalo lazima tulizungumzie bila haya.
You are watching Your World in association with Colgate.
All right. Welcome back to Your World. I was about to say I'm like out of habit. With me in the studio, we have Hesbon Mose. He's a country director. Ampersand E-Mobility. Sitting next to him is Caroline Garariga. My handwriting, my goodness. Write like a doctor. Garariga, a rider, Ampersand E-Mobility. And Caroline, you will not believe the number of questions on Stima and Pigwa Shock Ukinyesha. You will tell us. And we've also heard this morning from Asbon Amai as well as Henry Muchwenge. And Asbon is the chair Bakassi East boda-boda Association. Henry is a rider and treasurer boda-boda Safety Association of Kenya. You had 2 more points, but before you do, let me just settle this debate because the questions are fast and furious. And actually, before I get into that, my apologies. Kenya, what if we told you that your smile can help those next to you? Colgate is helping to provide clean drinking water so that our children can have a bright future by staying in school. For every pack of Colgate that you buy at your nearest Naivas store over the next 2 months, you are helping to build 30 water wells that will provide clean water for 120,000 people. Now that's something to smile about. Visit the Colgate Kenya Facebook page or visit the website on Boring, W-E-L-L, Boring, B-O-R-I-N-G, /Colgate.com for more information. Terms and conditions apply. Speaking of terms and conditions, Caroline, do we have any fear for getting shocked?
No, no, not really. That does not even make any sense. Why will they make something that will shock you? So the battery is insulated. So there's no way when it gets water, it's going to shock you. So no, for that question, it does not shock you. I have used it for quite a while. Haiwezi kushock. Sasa itakushoka aje. I would have already given up on the bike if that happens. But no, it does not shock you. Actually, it has no problems that ikinyeshewa. The only problem with it is if you pour water directly to the battery. Because, you know, as much as it's insulated, haifai kuingia maji ndani. So basically, kinyeshewa, nothing happens, but kimwagilia maji directly ndani ya battery, that's the only problem. All right. Yeah.
Tell us what the maintenance of the bike is like, because Henry had a few questions where that is concerned. But, you know, when I was listening to us, when he said, oh, you don't need to change the oil, you don't need to change. Yes. There are no plugs. He doesn't have plugs.
No plugs, no engine, no noise. No oil, no changing of gearbox, no changing of clutch plates.
Okay, but I'm listening to Henry here. He says he's talking about the lifespan of the batteries. He says his engine can go for 20 years, but the battery you need to purchase a new one every 3 to 5 years.
Yeah. So that is a very good point, and that's why, number one, for you to get a good quality battery, essentially from an EV perspective, the most critical part is the battery, right? And that's what distinguishes between different EV companies, is the technology on the battery. For you to have a good battery, you need to have good technology. And if you have good technology, it is expensive. So for example, what we have done and some of the EV companies have done is actually battery as a service, meaning that we lease the battery to the customer. When you have battery as a service, is the company takes ownership of the battery, meaning that the rider only leases the battery. When they come into our stations, all they're doing is actually replacing the used battery with a fully charged battery. That does a few things. Number one is there is no risk to the customer in terms of the responsibilities and service and maintenance of the battery. Then number two, the upfront cost of an expensive battery. So what that does to the company, essentially, we're taking full responsibility and making sure we have good quality battery that we're giving to the customer. So basically, that is what we do as Ampersand, and some of the EV companies do the same thing in terms of battery as a service.
Okay. Henry?
I think Ampersand and the rest are just trying to run from the reality because why should you, when I buy the bike, like for now, when I buy my bike is mine. So for them, the battery is theirs and the battery is the bike. But you see? That's the advantage. Yes, of course, some advantage. But now, if the battery is yours, then I don't fully own the bike. So I have to be coming back to you. I want to charge or blah, blah, blah. So you see, even when Asbon was asking the same question which Asbon came in, he was asking, now I have bought the bike, I want to sell it. So when I want to sell the bike, I have to refer my client to Ampersand. And all this thing is because of those what we call the price, because this thing is very expensive. So Ampersand is trying to cushion the client from maybe when that battery, as I told you, when it spoils, now Ampersand will take the responsibility. But now I asked him, what about these others that sells you the bike and leaves you like that? Because I buy the bike and they give me the charger, so I go with the bike. When the battery and the battery lifespan, I told you, is 3 to 5 years. When this battery comes to an end, the life is gone now. I have to buy another one. This is another 70,000 within 3 to 5 years. And I was doing some arithmetics in my phone. If I use 1,000 for doing what services per month, that is 12,000 per year. So in 3 years, that is that 6,000. And maybe my bike will go up to, my engine will go up to 10 years. Now, these 3 years, I have to buy a 70,000 battery from that 6,000, which I was using gradually, not once, lump sum. You see. So which one will you prefer as a rider?
Okay. Caroline, perhaps you can attempt to convince Henry, given your experience. How long have you been using an E
I have been
vehicle?
using it for the past 1 year. And pragmatically speaking, I can say that most of these boda-boda users, like my friend here, I think the only thing they're afraid of is change. Like, you have to experience something for you to understand how it works. And I can say for me, it has been a smooth ride. Especially the fact that my bike is from the Ampersand company. Ampersand, they really take care of their clients. So the fact that you don't own the battery 100% is actually the biggest advantage in that company. Meaning, if anything goes wrong, they fix it, so long as I'm not the one who has tampered with it. 1 year working with Ampersand, I have never used even 1 single shilling for service, not even one. The only thing I bought was a side mirror with my own money. The rest was done at a free cost because the battery belongs to them. So if it gets to that 3 to 5 years span and then the battery cannot be used anymore, they will switch up. It's the work of the company. That is why we sign a warranty whereby we don't own the battery, the company owns the battery. So for the rider, I think that is very cost effective because you don't have to buy another battery in 3 to 5 years, unless we are talking about other e-mobility companies, which I am not sure if they work the same as Ampersand.
So to clarify what, also in addition, thanks Carol, in addition to what Henry is saying, I think one thing that we need to be very, very clear of is, one of the things that he mentioned earlier is training and sensitization.
Yes.
So I think we'll start by training and sensitizing Henry here, that when
this is part of that exercise.
when you buy an ice bike, you go buy a TVS, a Boxer.
Yes.
When you buy it, do you buy it with fuel?
No.
No.
When you're selling it, do you sell it with fuel?
No.
No.
So you fuel every single day?
Of course, yes.
When you come to EVs, essentially, the difference is the energy is on the battery. Right? So we'll always, at any given point, always need to add more energy for you to actually move the vehicle. So I think is a mind shift, and that's what Carol was trying to highlight here, is a mind shift and saying, yes, you don't own the battery. It's the same thing, you don't own energy when you have a fuel bike. So I think that's kind of the shift. It's just that empty space where the battery is supposed to be, you don't have it, but the company is there to always give you a battery to always make sure that you're moving on the road.
And then on top of it, there is this upgrade that they normally take place. Like, for instance, the batteries, when we started, the battery was going at around 70 kilometers. I have one bike. So they did an upgrade.
An e-bike?
Yes, I have it down here. So when we continue, they are doing an upgrade. At least we need to have, like what Henry was saying, off the camera, that we want a battery that can sustain us at least for long kilometers. So when you own the bike, when you own the battery or the battery that is going for 80 kilometers, so when we will do the upgrade, it is very hard for you to be reached. But when the company will do the upgrade, you will just go and swap. You get the new battery that can last you at least for 200 kilometers or above the 80 kilometers. So that's why we are saying when the company gets responsibility of the battery, it is an advantageous to the rider. Because you understand, najua hata wewe uko na gari, you understand the issues of batteries. You can buy a battery today, tomorrow it collapses. Who will you blame? And because like the other models, when they give you the charger, there is a form you sign that they have sold you that battery. So in case the battery develop problems, you have to purchase another battery. But now the issue with the ampersand, one, they are doing the upgrade of the battery. At least the battery can last for more kilometers. Okay. And then on top of that, they're also doing the maintenance. And another thing, the security. That thing I was forgetting, and it's very, very important. The security of that bike is absolute.
What do you mean?
Absolute.
In what sense?
In this sense. If somebody come and install that bike, I just make a call. And when I make the call, the company will take the responsibility, and immediately this guy will be arrested. Because number one, he has to go and swap the battery. So when you go to swap the battery, the notification will come to my phone, my primary number. Okay. It will come with the station where he is swapping the battery. So I'm able to arrest or to know my bike was stolen yesterday. It is now being swapped in Mountain View. Okay. And I will stop that swap and say, hold that person until I come. Right. So the e-mobility is coming with a lot of advantage, or by which I will request my brother Henry here to accept transition. And when you accept that, because we have been having this issue of stealing, we put these easy trackers za kubandika, tunaziweka kwa bike, jamaa wanachukua, wanaenda huko chini, wanangoa na bike ina but this one you cannot. Okay. Because it is inbuilt tracker. It has the microchip inbuilt.
So just before you respond, I think to expand on what Asbon is saying is, on EVs, the batteries are smart batteries. What I mean by smart batteries, you have a smartphone. It's the same thing. It's a smart battery. There is telemetry integrated into the battery technology. So meaning at any given time, whichever EV company that you're with, they can actually collecting data and telemetry and location where you are and the performance of the battery. So meaning that, to his point, is essentially at any given point we can locate where your riders are. Okay. Which the app actually that he has, we do have a back-end software that we can locate all our riders, right? That's number one. Number two, the advantage of being a smart battery, we are collecting data. And the data we are using to integrate it and look at how we can keep on improving on the battery. So that's kind of what we're doing. And what he's mentioned earlier is basically, as we collect data, we make decisions and say we need to upgrade and make changes on the battery. So we've gone through more than 4 different iterations since we started the company in 2019. And now we are at the 4 iterations to improve on the range on the battery in Kenya. Okay. So that's the advantage of actually having an EV, is essentially we are collecting data, we are using data to make decisions in terms of how to upgrade the battery. So that's generally on the EVs. So I'm hoping that Mr. Henry atavuka upande ingine.
Henry, nilisikia your president, Sulembe anaitwa president, of the Boda-boda Safety Association saying, you want to have a stake in these charging ports.
Yes.
Stations.
Yeah. Yes. So I think having a stake, you know, Ampersand will be making money all through in that charging, because I asked him off the camera and he told me, of course, that battery is maintaining it, and where he gets a maintenance fee is from charging. So from that charging also, we as boda-bodas, we have to have some share, because we are also in business. Why should he come and do business alone and make money? So we also need to have a share in that issue. And then I also want to come back to my friend Esbon. Yes. You know, Esbon is my junior.
I understand. I respect that. I respect that.
You can tell, did you see him in the mathematics here?
Exactly. Yes.
And Esbon, we have been riding. And you understand very well in the beginning, this thing called trackers, because they are just the same. They are smart, as my friend was mentioning. Yes. But with time, people are learning. They are IT people, they are IT guys, and this bike will just be stolen like other bikes in the future.
But before,
just a minute. Let me finish. look at an instance, because there is somebody I know in the industrial area is making those batteries, and these batteries will make you the battery depending on your money, and I think he told me he can make you a battery that can last even 200 kilometers. So this guy will just take your bike, and then he won't go to swap your battery. He'll throw the battery in the bush and then bring in a new battery. So, which means you will not find that that bike.
We have the controller system that has got also the microchips.
That is why I'm telling you, people are learned. And then another issue that I wanted to bring in is the issue of conversion. Because the president told us of bringing the bike there, I don't know where, but I don't know if they are going to be thrown or. But me, I just want to say that it's good even if we started with conversion. So we take off the engine and then we put in the batteries for the bikes that we have, so that they can go for a while before maybe we make the mind of now buying the bikes. If they could incite us in that way, that come bring your bike, we do conversion so that you test and see. If it won't work for you, you still have your engine. You can put it on. So I think this issue of conversion, because these bikes are so many, as Esbon said, we have got almost 2 million riders, bikes in Kenya. That is only for boda-boda. But you see there are other guys who are not even boda-bodas and they have bikes. So in Kenya we are almost clicking like 5 million bikes. Will the government manage to bring all? Because the president told us he's going to start with 10,000, I think,
Yes,
1st of July. No, he told us 1st of July. So of which I hope the bikes are already there. And I think I want to ask Mr. President to give me one so that my mind can change as ambassador. Mr. Esbon also, I want one so that I can market you with practicality.
It's a new plan. We have to accommodate you.
I've come across a very interesting comment here.
Yes.
Mutai Josephat says, kwa sasa hatuna maoni kabisa, but tunajua mtata hajafurahi maneno. But Esbon.
So he brings up a few.
Is the technology there for swapping out the engine?
Yes, there is technology to do it. But the question is at what cost, right? The cost for you to convert an ICE bike to become an EV is significantly high. And then who do you blame when something goes wrong on the bike?
Yes.
Who takes responsibility?
Sure.
Right? You have swapped the motor, you have swapped the engine, you have swapped the dashboard, you have swapped the... you basically converting it. It's going to cost you close to 100,000. Is it really worth it? Then who's going to take the responsibility when you are down and something goes wrong? Are you going to blame TVS? Are you going to blame now the person who did the conversion? So I think the most important part is when you're bringing new technology, let's start from a clean slate. Let's give you a completely new bike. We'll take full responsibility at any given point as a customer for Ampersand. If something goes wrong, we take full responsibility. We'll come and do a rescue and actually repair the bike. If we cannot repair it on time, we'll give you a loaner that actually you continue with your business until we finish fixing your bike. So I think that's the ease of mind. I think you're in business and your role is being in business. Your role is actually to just make X amount in a day. Let's focus on that and leave the technology and actually the part of conversion I am not really into the idea of conversion.
Okay.
All right.
And my other question is, because I am seeing we're running out of time, on the question of financing, because there's been a lot of talk of predatory lenders and all of that. Do you have a facility where somebody can pay for the bike over time, given the cost, or? Yes.
So we're working with different partners. So right now we've partnered with Mkopa, Watu, Mogo, the same guys that have been financing, and actually they've reconsidered the percentage of interest and reduced it for EVs, based on security, reliability, and just the cost savings that actually are going to the riders themselves. So working with them, you will come in with a down payment, and from day one, once you have all the documentation required, you actually walk away with the bike.
Okay.
What about we being included in your swapping shares?
Yes.
Shares.
So number one, all EVs that I'm part of the E-Mobility Association of Kenya, which we have more than 15 companies registered. And within that organization, all of them are startups.
Yes.
Right? And in any business, anybody has started a business. You are a business. Right?
True.
So from day one, do you ask for sharing shares, or you want to build up the business?
But we can partner.
And it's okay.
Yeah, because we have gone like 2 years, 1 year down the line, and I have no numbers and more than 2 years. So it's not that we have started that, and we are not even asking or requesting.
I think the most important part is with the EVs, the prices and the cost are subsidized already. So you're part of us as part of the subsidies that we're giving them.
Right.
The government has given us incentives, which is actually transferred to the customer. And then number two, the most important part is you're saving 40 to 50% on fuel from day one.
Yes.
So that is the most important part. And let's not be hungry and want everything.
Sure.
Right? Let's just eat what we can eat and help grow the industry as an association, if you are representing the association.
All right, one last question for you. I know there's 3 and 4 pending, but I'll plan another day where we can get into that. On the question of I think it's the CS Transport was talking about, let them be assembled here.
Yes.
The bike, so that the cost is not as prohibitive.
Sure.
How possible is that?
So number one is part of the Manufacturers Motorcycle Association of Kenya is for you to get the tax breaks that actually are given by the government, you need to have local assembly. Part of local assembly, you have to also have localization, meaning that a percentage of some parts of the motorcycle need to be locally manufactured. So yes, part of this industry coming into play is actually bringing more jobs into Kenya and actually also increasing the manufacturing side of parts in Kenya.
Yes.
So in terms of that, that's kind of what he's referring to. As we bring EVs into the country, now it's more jobs and actually creating more jobs from a manufacturing standpoint and also doing local manufacturing from our side.
All right, Caroline, have the last word this morning. If there's one thing you would like Henry to go and think about after this show, what is it?
Oh, I would like to say to Henry that you should just like open your mind to change. I think most of the boda-boda users are not accustomed to change. Yes. Just change your mind for one bit. Just get an experience. Try it and see how it will work for you. I promise you won't want to go back to the petrol using bikes. That's it.
All right. So it's okay. One more thing.
One last thing that needed to be clarified before we finish. I think they talked about the charging time, which is really critical. And part of sensitization, that's one of the things that we need to talk about. So there is 2 types of EVs from a motorcycle standpoint. There is home charging and there is swapping, right? Home charging is actually you take the bike home, you plug it in and you charge it. In the morning, you ride. When the battery depletes and the state of charges are completely zero, you need to stop somewhere and actually charge it, right? Ama when you're chopping jabba somewhere, you need to plug it and charge it. However, what has worked and has been proven from actually Ampersand is the swap model, where you'll come into our network, our charging station. Within 2 minutes, we have taken out the used battery and we'll give you a fully charged battery. Sure. Same thing as a fuel. Yeah. So basically that helps you.
There's no wait time.
There's no wait time. Wait time is 2 minutes. We can have your passenger, you can have your load, and within 2 minutes, we've taken out a used battery and given you a completely fully charged battery.
All right. This home charging, is it like unaingiza tu kwa stima ya kawaida?
Like the phone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Aspen, 1 minute, 1 minute.
Yes, I wanted to say this, and this one allow me to address Mr. President over the same. We don't know which camera, this one. Mr. President, we really love you very much, and I know you are getting this message. And I want you to clarify to me, you said that this guy should bring their bikes. Where are they bringing this bike? Number one. Number two, I was asking, 3/4 of these riders, they are using loan bike. When you say they bring and they have not completed the loan, is the government going to facilitate for them to complete the loan so that they can do the transition or the conversion? So as this is Asborn from Embakasi East, Pikipiki Sacco, big up Embakasi FC together with the Savannah FC. Mwana wa Ingo, wana veru mrembe bushere mno.
My last word, which also goes to the government and the president himself, director. Mine, I'll ask him to make sure that he gives an incentive, like tax incentive, to the riders, so that this bike maybe comes at a zero-rated price. So, which means it will cost us like slightly lower than the normal bikes, like maybe 100 or 150, so that it can give riders that room to change and also test it. Lastly, I want to send a shout out to also my boda-boda Safety Association of Kenya.
Sure.
And my president is at KBC also talking about the boda-boda care. We support and fully support the president because the boda-boda care has already started. Mine, when you check in my record of NHIF, is written as a rider, not just a normal Kenyan. So big up to the president. We are looking forward for you. And another thing I want to add is that let them bring the bikes that can work, not the bike that goes for a shorter time and then we have to go back to the charging station. Let him source, then get the bikes that can go at least 200 kilometers per day.
Okay, I don't know, another day husband will tell us whether the technology has reached there. Speaking of shout outs and big ups, when a child has to help their family fetch water, there is no such thing as a day off. You can help us change that. Colgate is asking all of you to help support the future of our country. Our children, just like clean water, every little drop makes a difference. For every pack of Colgate you buy at your nearest Navis store, you are helping to build 30 water wells that will provide clean water to 128,000 Kenyans. You can make a larger impact and help us to reach more Kenyans by donating via M-Pesa. Visit the Colgate Kenya Facebook page or wellboring/colgate.com website for more information. Terms and conditions apply. Thank you so much. I want to thank Caroline for being here. Caroline Ngara Riga. Woohoo! I got it. We've also had in studio husband Muse, country director, ampersand e-mobility. Henry Muchwenge, rider and treasurer, boda-boda Safety Association of Kenya. And also sitting next to him is Asbon Amai, chair, Embakasi East, boda-boda Association.
Sure.
Big up.
Yeah, big up.